The second I went to a sanctuary, I just like fell in love with it. Meeting all the animals and seeing them in like a nice environment and just getting to know them as individuals instead of how most people see them as just like a product. And when you spend time with them, you realize that they're not very much different than our cats and dogs. I think that's the best part about the sanctuary is we get people to come out and they can bond with a pig or a cow or a chicken, and then they see them as an individual. And it changes people, and you don't really even have to advocate for them. The animals will advocate for themselves. Morgan fell off a transport truck when he was just a small baby. He was maybe 2 months old. Someone found him on the side of the road. He was covered in road rash. And they took him to the shelter, and we were able to go to the shelter and pick him up and bring him home to Sage Mountain. Meeting the animals that come from like factory farms like Morgan, it's really powerful and it's really emotional because you know that every other animal that was on that truck was like as emotionally evolved as Morgan is, and that they're very sensitive towards pain, and in these farms all sorts of stuff is done to them with no pain reliever, and it's hard to think about all that stuff with taking care of like an animal that came directly from one of those places. Because like once you spend enough time with them, like you love them just as much as you love a person. I think if everybody like spent some time with a pig, then they probably wouldn't eat pigs anymore. Then we wouldn't be doing like all this horrible stuff that we do to them. I mean, it did it for me, like meeting a pig and like seeing how sensitive they are. They changed my life. It does that with a lot of people when they come out there and they're like, wow, I didn't know like a pig acted like this, or I didn't know cows were this friendly, or the goats would come up and like want you to snuggle them, or chickens would just jump up and want to be carried around. So I think it changes people, and like the animals just take care of it. You just tell them their stories and where the animals came from, and then the animals show them like who they are. Morgan is very big. He's about 700 pounds now, and he's very sweet and he's very gentle. So like watching him with the piglets is just, our piglets were like this big when they were born, and Morgan would just be very sweet with them and like move them with his nose and teach them how to play in the mud and like how to get mud all over themselves. And he's just he's like a gentle giant. He's kind of just like a giant Labrador. Yeah, I think if people knew that and saw the individuals that they were consuming, I don't think that they would want to be a part of that anymore.